The wolves of the northern pack learned to wake early. Not for the cold air. Not for the pale sunrise. They woke to watch Bianca Winters walk up the hill. She kept her eyes on the dirt path, counting each step in her head like a prayer. 27 steps to the old oak tree, where they first threw stones at her. 53 to the bend in the road, where they gathered to snarl insults. 112 steps to the iron gates, the gates that never opened. The growls started right on time. Traitor, go home. Something flew past her ear. Trash, maybe. Last week it had been rocks. Bianca didn't flinch. Fear had burned itself out long ago, leaving only numbness behind. There was a strange comfort in the hatred now. It was familiar, predictable, and she deserved worse. This land once belonged to her pack. Her family had helped destroy it. Every step stirred whispers that followed her like ghosts. How dare she come back, after what they did to us? Bianca's fingers tightened around the healer's bag at her side. This weight grounded her. Someone here needed help, whether he wanted it or not. The manor rose ahead of her, dark and silent against the gray dawn. A fortress of stone and shadow. Every window was sealed, every curtain drawn tight, as if the house were trying to keep something trapped inside. No one had seen the alpha in months. Rumors spread through the pack like rot. Some said he was dying. Some said he had gone mad. Others whispered he was already dead, and that the beta only pretended otherwise to keep enemies away. Bianca didn't know what to believe. She only knew she couldn't stop coming. 2 weeks she had walked this path. 2 weeks she had been turned away. Still she came, because shame wouldn't let her leave, and guilt wouldn't let her stop. The gatekeeper sneered when he saw her. He didn't bother speaking anymore. Within moments, the beta appeared, his face cold as stone. Alpha Theo will not see you today, Lady Winters. The words landed like they always did. Bianca nodded. She turned and began the long walk back down the hill. The manor's dark windows seemed to watch her retreat, heavy with secrets she couldn't touch. Behind her, a young wolf whispered to his mother. Why does she keep coming? The woman's voice was quiet, but firm. Because she has to. Bianca kept her shoulders straight. Let them stare. Let them hate. She would return tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. Penance was not meant to be easy, and she would keep paying it until the damage her pack had done was answered for. Theo stood by the window, his eyes blind to the world outside. Paige's voice came from behind him, delivering the report as usual. But Theo barely heard it. His wolf paced beneath his skin, restless and savage, desperate for release. Months of confinement had left him aching, hungry for something, anything, to tear apart. But all he could do was listen and wait. Report from the eastern border patrols, Paige continued. Increased activity from rogues. Theo's lips barely moved as he gritted his teeth. He wanted to snarl, but even that felt too weak. His wolf howled for freedom, but it was just noise now, empty echoes in the dark. The pack had grown weaker. Their once proud strength had faded. How could it not? His body, once a weapon, now felt like a prison. If they could only see me now. The treasury shows improvements. Paige's voice was nervous now, unsure. But we won't move forward if you're going to lead from here. The words were meant to be gentle, but they hit Theo like a slap. His wolf surged within him, clawing at the bars of his mental cage. What's your point, Paige? Theo growled, his voice rough. The silence that followed stretched thin, uncomfortable. Paige must have been weighing his words, deciding how much to risk. The Winters healer came again this morning. The name struck him like lightning. Bianca Winters, the traitor, the pack that had attacked without warning, that had poisoned them all. Her people had torn through Theo's pack, sharp and merciless as knives. And she had been one of them. A chill ran through him, not from the cold, but from the memory of that poison. The nightshade that had burned through his veins, stealing his vision, his strength. 2 weeks she'd been coming. Every morning. The healer who once stood with the people who had destroyed his world. She's been coming for 2 weeks, Paige went on, trying to sound calm but failing. Our healers are overwhelmed. Her reputation. Theo barked out a laugh, harsh and bitter. Reputation, right? Like her pack had one, before they turned on us. His mind flashed to the invasion, to the screams, the poison burning through him like fire, until all he knew was darkness. Theo remembered Silas, the boy he had once called a friend. A spoiled child with a silver tongue who'd grown into something monstrous. Something capable of twisting whole packs into puppets. Silas had burned my world to the ground. The word healer made Theo's insides twist. He hated it. The thought that Bianca Winters could somehow fix him was enough to make him want to rip the room apart. She claims to be helping, Paige said, his voice hesitant. She might be able to help, Theo. Theo's snarl cut him off. Help? She can't help me. I don't care what she claims, he spat. Her kind is poison. Another memory rose. Bianca's face. Her empty, cold eyes, watching while everything she loved burned. How dare she show up now? After everything her people had done? After everything she had helped destroy? But then something inside him twisted. Was it her fault? Her pack had been under a spell. Silas had worked his dark magic on them all. Theo's jaw tightened. Leave her be, Paige. She's not welcome here. Paige hesitated before speaking again. But if she could heal you. Leave me? Theo growled. His voice quiet but dangerous. The silence that followed felt suffocating. Paige left without another word, the door clicking shut behind him. Theo sank into his chair, his wolf snarling in the dark of his mind. His body, once so powerful, was now trapped in this prison. And the world outside, it didn't matter anymore. What did it matter if he could see again? He'd be just as broken. The healer's name still echoed in his head. Bianca Winters. She was the last person he would ever trust. And yet, something pulled at him. Something raw, unspoken, that stirred deep beneath the surface. Her presence lingered like a shadow in his mind. But he would never let her fix him. Never let her in. When Bianca was 20, she fell in love with sunshine. At least that's how she remembered it. Golden hair that caught the light, eyes as blue as summer skies, a smile that could make her heart skip a beat. His name was Silas, and he had made her feel like the center of the universe. Back then, it seemed so simple. They'd meet in hidden corners of her father's estate, their hands brushing, their stolen kisses tasting like forever. Bianca had been sure that it was love, and so had her pack. They had no choice in the matter. Silas had worked his magic on all of them. He'd enchanted them. Bianca, her family, her entire pack, into trusting him, into following him. They'd waged wars for him, fought battles he'd started, all because they thought he was their ally. But the spell was broken now, and Silas was dead. The illusions shattered like glass, and Bianca was left standing in the wreckage, trying to understand who she had been, and who she really was. At night, her dreams twisted and merged like rainwater. Silas's face, his words, things she had once believed, taunted her in the dark. She woke in a cold sweat, heart racing, unsure of what was real anymore. Hadn't she loved him? Hadn't he made her feel like she was the most important thing in the world? But how much of that was real? Bianca couldn't answer. All she had was shame, the gnawing weight of guilt, and the desperate need to make things right. She had to make things right. So, when her father spoke about the Northern Pack, about Alpha Theo's silence and the rumors surrounding him, Bianca had jumped at the chance to offer help. She was a healer, after all. Jensen, her father, had been growing desperate. He won't even answer my calls, he had said. I don't know if he's dead, or if he's planning our deaths. Kate, Bianca's sister, had been skeptical. After everything Silas made us do? She had snapped. But Bianca didn't care. The pack needed help. She needed to atone. And she would do it, even if it meant facing the pack that had once been her enemy. Theo could hear the wind howling outside the manor, but inside, it was all stillness. It had been too long since he had seen the light of day, too long since he had felt like himself. And his senses, they were slipping away from him. His eyes still saw only darkness. His wolf's heightened senses had faded to almost nothing, a shadow of his former self. He couldn't even feel the air shift as the healer approached. Her scent didn't reach him. He only knew she was there by the sound of her footsteps. Soft, steady, determined. He had wanted to turn her away, to ignore her. She was from the Winters, his enemies. But something in her had forced him to confront his pride, his stubbornness. The healer stood at the edge of his dark world, a figure he couldn't quite touch. Night had fallen, and Bianca lay awake in the small motel room. She tried to shift back to her human form, but it wouldn't happen. Her wolf had taken over, and she had no control. Why was she still here? Why had she stayed? There was no clear answer. Only the overwhelming weight of the past pressing on her chest. But then, a voice, one she hadn't expected. A shadow moved in her mind, Silas's voice, taunting her, accusing her. Why are you still here, Bianca? You can't fix this. You're weak. You always were. Bianca's heart pounded, and a deep ache formed in her chest. But something inside her stirred, a flicker of defiance. No, I can't go back to him. I can't. Not again. But the pull was undeniable. The need to heal Theo, to make things right, is what I came for. Theo was angry, and that anger was everything now. The world outside was a blur. He couldn't see it, but he could feel the shift inside him. The animal, his wolf, was growing restless. His body, his mind, was slipping toward something darker, something more dangerous. He wanted to fight, but the walls kept him here. His pack, their safety, depended on him. He couldn't let them see how broken he truly was. The manor loomed ahead of Bianca, its dark windows watching her approach. Every morning it felt more like a prison. Every step towards the gates was harder than the last. And yet she kept walking. There were whispers behind her, voices full of hatred and fear. The pack didn't understand. How could they? Her own pack had destroyed everything they had once loved. And now it was up to her to make it right. The footsteps were approaching, and he could hear the sound of his breath quickening. His senses had started to return, slower than he wanted, but the shadows were still too much to bear. His vision was still clouded, but his hearing, his scent, were sharper now. The wolf was stirring within him, and she was still there. Bianca Winters, the healer who had crossed the gates, the one who had helped him when he was at his weakest. Bianca couldn't breathe. Her mind spun as she stared at Theo. He had seen her. He had recognized her. She felt the bond growing, deep and undeniable, twisting around her like chains. No, this can't be real. But his touch, it was real. His presence, the warmth that surrounded her, the steady rhythm of his breath, the way he pulled her close. It was all too much. And yet, it felt like everything she had ever wanted. She had healed him. She had stayed for him. And now, he was beginning to see her. He had been blind for so long. And now, with her in his arms, something was changing. Slowly but surely, his senses were coming back. His wolf, his strength was returning. And then she spoke, her voice shaking. I couldn't leave you. Her confession hit him harder than any blow. Why? He whispered, his voice thick with emotion. Her answer was simple. Because I couldn't. Bianca woke to the sound of Theo's breath steady beside her. The warmth of his touch still lingered on her skin, and the last remnants of her fear melted away. They had healed each other in ways neither of them could explain. But that was the truth. They were meant for each other, even if they had to fight the past and everything they had lost to find it.